Greetings, fellow gardeners, and welcome back to the Humus Heritage. If you've been part of our growing community for any length of time, you know we're passionate about empowering you with knowledge that transforms your garden from ordinary to extraordinary. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that has sparked countless debates in gardening circles, the showdown between Nettle and Cornmeal. But here's the truth that might surprise you: this isn't actually a battle at all. What we're about to reveal will fundamentally change how you approach garden health, and by the end of this guide, you'll understand exactly when and why to use each of these incredible natural resources. The foundation of understanding here is pretty simple: different tools for different jobs. The first revelation that settles this so-called debate is recognizing that Nettle and Cornmeal aren't competitors, they're complementary allies in your gardening arsenal. Imagine trying to compare a hammer to a screwdriver and declaring one superior. That's essentially what's been happening in this discussion. Nettle operates primarily as a dynamic fertilizer and growth stimulant, flooding your plants with nitrogen and essential micronutrients that drive vigorous development. Cornmeal, on the other hand, functions as a biological control agent, marshaling beneficial microorganisms to combat fungal diseases while gently improving soil structure. Understanding this fundamental difference is the key that unlocks their true potential in your garden. Nettle is your garden's growth catalyst. When we talk about Nettle as a garden amendment, we're discussing one of nature's most potent fertility boosters, and it's been hiding in plain sight, often dismissed as nothing more than a troublesome weed. The magic happens when you harvest fresh nettles and transform them into a fermented liquid feed, sometimes called nettle tea or nettle manure. This process releases an impressive array of nutrients, with nitrogen leading the charge. Nitrogen is the element responsible for that deep green color in leaves and the rapid vegetative growth that every gardener dreams of seeing. But Nettle doesn't stop there. It delivers iron, potassium, calcium, and magnesium in forms that plants can readily absorb and utilize. The beauty of Nettle lies in its versatility and immediate impact on plant health. When you apply diluted nettle tea to heavy feeders like tomatoes, cucumbers, or leafy greens such as cabbage and spinach, you're essentially giving them a concentrated nutrient boost that translates directly into lush foliage and robust growth. Young transplants particularly benefit from this treatment, as the nutrient infusion helps them overcome transplant shock and establish strong root systems quickly. Beyond its direct feeding properties, Nettle serves as an exceptional compost activator. Tossing fresh or fermented nettles into your compost pile introduces both nitrogen and moisture, accelerating the decomposition process and helping you produce finished compost more quickly. There's even an added benefit for pest management. Nettle plants attract beneficial insects like ladybugs and hoverflies, which feed on aphids and other common garden pests. While Nettle works its magic above ground through direct nutrient delivery, Cornmeal operates in the hidden realm beneath the soil surface, where the real foundation of garden health exists. The power of Cornmeal lies in its ability to stimulate beneficial soil microorganisms, particularly Trichoderma species, which are natural antagonists to pathogenic fungi. When you sprinkle cornmeal around the base of roses prone to black spot or distribute it across lawn areas suffering from brown patch, you're not directly killing the disease organisms. Instead, you're creating an environment where beneficial microbes thrive and outcompete the harmful fungi for resources and space. This biological approach to disease management is both sustainable and effective, though it requires patience and consistent application to achieve optimal results. The science behind cornmeal's effectiveness centers on its role as a food source for the soil microbiome. As beneficial bacteria and fungi consume the cornmeal, they multiply rapidly, creating a dense population that crowds out pathogens. This microbial activity also contributes to improved soil structure, as these organisms produce substances that help bind soil particles together, enhancing water retention and aeration. It's worth noting a common source of confusion: regular cornmeal and corn gluten meal are not interchangeable. While regular cornmeal supports beneficial microbes and combats fungal diseases, corn gluten meal, a specific byproduct of corn processing, contains compounds that inhibit seed germination, making it useful as a pre-emergent weed control. If you're looking to prevent weed seeds from sprouting in pathways or garden beds, corn gluten meal is your choice, not standard cornmeal. Now that you understand what each amendment brings to the garden, the strategic gardener's question becomes, when do I choose which? The answer lies in diagnosing what your garden actually needs at any given moment. If you're preparing beds for heavy-feeding crops, establishing young plants, or noticing pale, slow-growing foliage that signals nitrogen deficiency, Nettle is your go-to solution. Brew your nettle tea by steeping fresh nettles in water for 1 to 3 weeks until the mixture becomes dark and pungent, then dilute it at a ratio of about 1 part tea to 10 parts water before applying it as a soil drench or foliar spray. Cornmeal enters the picture when you're dealing with fungal disease pressure or want to build long-term soil health through microbial diversity. Sprinkle it generously around the base of susceptible plants, lightly scratch it into the soil's surface, and water it in to activate the beneficial microbes. For preventative care, applying cornmeal in early spring before disease pressure builds can establish a protective microbial community that persists throughout the growing season. In compost piles, cornmeal helps neutralize odors and speeds decomposition while adding a gentle carbon source that balances nitrogen-rich materials. Here's where experienced gardeners take things to the next level. Why choose when you can combine? Using nettle and cornmeal together creates a comprehensive soil and plant health program that addresses multiple needs simultaneously. Start your season by incorporating cornmeal into your beds to build beneficial microbial populations and prevent fungal issues. As your plants enter active growth phases, supplement with nettle tea applications to provide the nutrient boost they need for optimal development. This dual approach creates resilient plants growing in biologically active soil, resulting in gardens that can better withstand stress, resist diseases, and produce abundantly. The real revelation here is that the debate was never about which is better. It was always about understanding that a thriving garden ecosystem requires multiple strategies working in concert. Nettle feeds and stimulates, cornmeal protects and balances. Together they represent a holistic approach to garden care that honors the complexity of soil biology while delivering practical, measurable results. Your garden is indeed a dynamic ecosystem, and now you're equipped with the knowledge to unleash its full potential using these two remarkable natural amendments. We'd love to hear about your experiences with nettle and cornmeal in your own gardens. Drop a comment below sharing your results, and don't forget to subscribe to the Humus Heritage for more evidence-based gardening wisdom that actually works. Share this guide with fellow gardeners who are ready to move beyond debates and into purposeful, strategic garden care. Together, we're building a community of informed gardeners who understand that nature provides the tools. We just need to know when and how to use them. Happy gardening!